of the truth and the power of a lie. Now, there's a lot to deal with in the next 43 minutes, but we're going to try to do it. Now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that one day, and Honorable Louis Farrakhan said it as well, truth and falsehood went swimming. That's right. Right? And falsehood got out of the pool before truth. And put on truth's clothes, right? And took off running. That's right. And he said, from that day to this day, naked truth has been chasing a well-dressed lie. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to bring some naked truth to chase a well-dressed lie. Are y'all ready? Go ahead. So now the first thing we want to know is that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the story that you read about in the Bible of Adam and Eve, right? Now we know, or we should know, that Adam and Eve were not the first people on earth. All you have to do is go to the encyclopedia, or since it's 2006, you can just Google it. And you type in pre-Adamites, right? And the pre-Adamites are the people that lived on earth before Adam. And the archaeologists and anthropologists call them the pre-Adamites. That's you and I. The story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, if you get a study Bible, it says it was written in 4004 BC. Well, if it's 4004 BC, this is 2006, right? That's 6,010 years ago. Have black people been on earth longer than 6,010 years? Yeah. And all you have to do is look at science. Because the Leakeys found bones in Africa that were 1,750,000 years old. They named them Zings Anthropus, which means black man. Because they were the bones of a black man. Are y'all with me? Then the son, Richard Leakey, went back and found a human skull that was 1,800,000 years old. Right. And then another man went to another part of Africa. His name is Donald Johanson, and he found the bones that are called the Lucy bones. And they're 3.5 million years old, the bones of a black woman. And just recently, about a month ago, I can't remember the man's name, but he found bones that were older than the Lucy bones. Are y'all with me? All in Africa. And now the scientists today have to bear witness to what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said in 1930. Go ahead. That the black man and woman are the original people. They've proven that. Y'all with me? So what's my point? My point is that there were people here before Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve is symbolic, right? It's historical, right? And it's also spiritual. So what we'll deal with tonight is the symbolic part of the story of Adam and Eve, all right? So now you have Adam and Eve in the garden, right? Now you know, and Adam and Eve were not black. It's in the historical aspect. It's talking about the first group of white people on the planet. Adam and Eve represent a new people. Not the first people, the first of a kind of people. Y'all got that? That's the historical side. But I want to deal with the symbolic side because it has to do with truth and falsehood. So now, in this story, you have a snake that approaches Eve, right? And tells her to eat from a tree that has the knowledge of good and evil. Now, you know that snakes never had legs. Some of y'all think, well, yeah, snakes had legs until God cursed them, see, and said you're going to be on your belly forever. And it was a time that women had children and there wasn't no pain. No, that's not what the Bible means. Snakes never had legs. Snakes could never talk. So you've been watching too much? Is that Dr. Dolittle? Is that what it is? Right. No, snakes never talk. It's symbolic of a person that encourages you. See, people have characteristics like animals, right? And a person that is a person that's scheming, you call him a snake, right? Like sisters, you call brothers, he's a no good dog, right? Because of the way he acts. And y'all call her a female dog, which is not good. But what am I trying to show? That we give people the characteristics of animals. Y'all with me? Right. So now, there is no tree that has the knowledge of good and evil. Go ahead. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said that the tree represents a person that has the knowledge of good and uses the knowledge of good to attract the good people, and then uses the knowledge of evil to deceive the good into the doing of evil. Go ahead. And that's exactly what the white man has done. Use the knowledge of good to attract us, and then use the knowledge of evil to get us whose nature is good to participate in evil. Are y'all with me? So now, so he gives, when we deal with it, he always gives truth mixed with falsehood. Because falsehood has no power. But when you mix it with truth, then the truth with the falsehood gives the falsehood power. Are y'all with me?
That's right.
So now let's move on. Let's first deal with those of you who think you're Capricorns, Sagittarius, Libras. I don't know them all, but you know what you are, right? You said, well, I was born on April 11th. I'm a whatever, right? And some of y'all wake up every morning and open up the paper, right? And you look in the paper saying, well, see, Omar said that I'm going to be this today, or this is going to happen to me today. Now, come on, simple mathematics. There's 12 zodiac signs, right? And there's 6 billion people on the planet Earth today, right? So that means, if we just do the numbers, that for every zodiac sign, there are 500 million people under each sign. Are y'all listening? So now, what are the odds of all 500 million people that are Sagittarius for the same thing that happened to them on that particular day? What are the odds? Now, if you read the little horoscope, it says you'll probably find love waiting around the corner.
Good.
And what if I'm in jail and I'm a Sagittarius? And I'm in jail. Do I want to find love waiting around the corner? Now, you can't be a Muslim or a real Christian and a zodiac, Sagittarius, Libra, Taurus, whatever. You can't be that and a Muslim or a Christian at the same time. Because either God is in control of your life or the stars control your life. But see, we have telescopes now, right? And the telescopes that are in space can see the star that you were born under, right? And the star that you were born under, most of them have burned out. They're no longer there. So how is the star that's no longer there still affecting your life? Now let me ask you this. Let's say today is November 22nd, and the chairs in the gym are arranged in a certain fashion. Does that have any bearing on the children born on November 22nd? Then tomorrow when the children come in for Islamic studies and they're arranged differently, is that going to have any bearing on the people that are born tomorrow? So why would you think that the stars that are billions of miles away are affecting your life on Earth? Some of those stars have burnt out and are no longer there. And you said, girl, just leave it to the stars. Just leave it to the stars. Star ain't even there no more. Are y'all with me? So now, what does the Bible say? What does the Holy Quran say? If you read in the Holy Quran, there's I believe it's the 5th surah, I have it right here. And I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I'm just going to let you know where it is. It's Surah 6, 75 through 82. And in Surah 6, 75 through 82, you have the story of Abraham, right? And Abraham looks at his father, he sees him worshiping idols, and he says, I know that's not right. So he leaves his father, and he sees the stars, right? And he says, is this what I should worship? But then the stars set, right? So he said, I can't worship the setting ones. So then the moon comes up, and he says, is this what I should worship? But then the moon set, right? Then the sun comes up, and he says, oh man, this is magnificent. Is this what I should worship? And what happened? The sun set. So then he says, well, I should worship the one and true God, Allah, right? Because those things come and those things go, but Allah is always here. So how can you be a Muslim and Abraham is the father of the righteous and didn't worship stars, and now you're a Muslim or a Christian, right? And you worship the stars? I mean, come on. And you can't be both. I'm sorry. You just can't do it. Sidi Omar is not God. Dear Abby is not God. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on. Now, in the Bible, I'm just going to give you the Bible verse. In the Bible, it calls the people who did horoscopes observers of time, right? Because the prefix hora, right, it comes from the word hour, right, which represents time, and scope means to look or to observe, right? So horoscope is one who observes time. So in the Bible, it doesn't use the word horoscope. It uses the word observers of time, which is the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? And in the book of Leviticus 19 and 26, it tells the children of Israel not to follow people who observe time or who believe in horoscopes. Are y'all with me? Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Now, Jesus Jesus in the Bible says that ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Right? And if anybody, but see, what he doesn't say is what truth is going to make us free, right? He just says the truth, but he doesn't qualify the truth. Because all of us know something that's true, but there has to be a special truth from a special man that would make us free from the falsehood. Y'all with me? See, the only way that you can determine between truth and falsehood is if you know the complete truth. If you're unaware, then the part that you're unaware about, you can be deceived. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So the only way you cannot be deceived is you know the complete truth. And as black people, we never got that. So a man has to be given to us to bring us the what? The 100% truth. Now, let's look at Halloween. Okay, we got it. I'm going to try to do this, okay? As much as I can. Halloween was just passed, right? October 31st. Now, we know that Halloween is the festival of the dead, right? And see, these holidays, they have no root where we come from. In Africa, in Asia. All of these holidays that we celebrate, their root is in Europe. And it comes from Europe at a time where the Europeans had no knowledge. See, the Europeans were in the Dark Ages, and when they got ready to explore the world, not when they got ready, when we actually went there and civilized them and shared with them the knowledge that we had, and that gave them the ability to explore the world. Y'all with me? And they came among us. Before that, they believed in spirits and demons and ghosts and goblins. They had no scientific reason for things that took place, right? So if you were sick, they would just put leeches on your body, and the leeches would suck your blood, and they thought that the leeches would suck the sickness out of you. Because they didn't have any scientists. They learned that from us. Are y'all with me? So this festival was during that time. So when we follow these holidays, it has nothing to do with black people. The only reason we celebrate them is because we were brought in slavery. And whatever the slave master celebrated, what? We were forced to celebrate those same holidays. I personally believe that if there was a Ku Klux Klan holiday tomorrow, and black people got the day off, and we could barbecue. Girl, what you gonna do for Ku Klux Klan Day? I'm gonna barbecue some chicken, you know? I'm coming over, we're gonna have some ribs on the grill. Yeah, man, I just love the Ku Klux Klan. That's how I'm just telling you. Because we just want a day off work. Is that right? Unemployed and want a day off work. I don't understand. So now, the Celts and the Anglo-Saxons, right, who are white from Europe, their new year began on November 1st, which was the end of summer, right? And they thought that the sun was dying. So they would set these huge fires in Europe, bonfires, right? And they thought that by setting these fires, they could bring the sun back to life. Are y'all with me? Well, we know that that's crazy. Now, so they had a festival of the dead because in the winter, the earth dies, right? So Halloween was a Celtic and Anglo-Saxon festival of the dead. The Druids they celebrated or worshiped the god of death. And on October 31st, this god of death gathered all the evil spirits together, right? And they would be reincarnated as animals. So this is during this time, what the Europeans would do, they would take dead animals and wear them on their head, right? And they thought that by wearing the dead ox or the dead cow or the dead pig or whatever, wearing these dead animals on their head, that they would scare away the evil spirits, right? And they would go throughout the countryside. The poor people, the homeless, would go throughout the countryside and beg, right? So some people would bake food for the homeless, right? And it would be good food. Others would bake food for the homeless and they would put dead rats on the inside, blood on the inside, something to poison the food on the inside, right? And they would give it to them. So this is where the trick-or-treating came from. Some people would give you good food, and some people would give you something that was poisonous. And they would give their food to the homeless people that were begging in Europe. Are y'all with me? Yes, so now, what happened? In 43 AD, the Romans conquered the Celts, right? And they merged two of their gods together. The Celtic god was Pharaoh, the Roman god was Pomona. Are y'all with me? Yes, so they merged their celebration. Pomona was the goddess of fruit in ancient Rome. she wore a crown of apples on her head. So now, every Halloween, they have a thing where you bob for apples, right? And you stick your head in a barrel with 5 other people, snot and slob coming all out your mouth, right? And they put a couple of apples in there, and you stick your head in the water, and you try to catch the apple in your mouth with everybody's slob and spit, right? In there with you. Now, I bobbed for apples before, I'm not gonna lie. But, before I became a Muslim, at the boys' club, yeah, I did do that. But see, we do these things and have no idea where they come from. Are y'all with me? Yes. So now, when Christianity took over Rome, the Pope compromised with the pagans because he wanted the pagans to become a part of Christianity. Y'all with me? So he decided to make November 1st All Souls Day, and the day before November 1st, which was October 31st, would be All Hallows Eve, or the contraction is Halloween. Y'all understand? Yeah. He didn't change the practice, he just incorporated the practice into Christianity, which is, what Caucasians have done. They take the name of God, right, and they use his name to shield whatever evil they want to do. Are y'all with me? Don't get too mad because we do the same thing, right? I mean, they say, well, if God didn't want people to be gay, why would he make them that? Why would he make me like that, right? And you watching TV, that kind of makes sense, right? And you hear the brothers, well, see, what happened was, if God didn't want a brother smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? Well, why is the weed on earth? You know what I'm saying? What did he put it here for? Right? I mean, but we don't use that logic with other things, do we? This dog doodle in the park, hey, well, it's here, it's on earth. Maybe I should eat this, or maybe I should smoke it. We don't use that same measure, right? Now we say, well, see, God didn't want us to, have all these women, then why is there so many of them? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he must be wanting us to be with them, right? So don't get too mad at white people, because they trained us very well to do the same exact thing, right? Never follow God, and then when something bad happens in our life, we blame God, right? It was just smoking crack. Grandmama died, now we blame God. You understand? Just shot up the block. Cousin got shot last week, now we mad at God at the funeral. Why would God let this happen? Well, what happened when you shot the little 4-year-old boy drinking Kool-Aid? Right. You understand? God catches a lot.
See, the knot in the tongue, the knot has to be untied to loose the string, which makes for a clear transmission of what Islam is. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said when he first heard of Islam, he thought it was a heathen religion. So I know what I'm talking about because he came under a Baptist preacher. His father was a Baptist preacher. You in the church, you just taught anything that ain't this, this, and this is heathen. So this is interesting, because when you're in the church, you hear about Abraham. God promises Abraham. You don't really read of any other prophet or servant of God being promised the way Abraham is promised. Isn't that interesting? Then Abraham is called the father of the righteous. Abraham, your seed will be in bondage for a period of 400 years. They're going to suffer in this land amongst a strange people, right? It'll be a strange land, strange people. What's strange about it? You can live right in the house with white folks if you're the maid or the butler. But if you move down the street and own your own house, they bust in your windows and burning a cross on your lawn. Strange. We don't want nothing to do with black people. We don't be next to them or anything, but you rape our women. Strange. Go back to Africa. How about I just go back to my neighborhood, mind my own business, keep my own money, set up my own businesses, educate my own children. Oh, hell no, we ain't gonna let you get away with that. Bring your children back to us so we got strange. They made us strange. Look what they did to our sister at Waffle House. Terrible though. They threw her down and that dress all up, everything. And then I figured, well, damn, you know, ain't going in there no more. Next thing I see another post, young black guy on his prom night, they beat him up at Waffle House. Why are we still going in there? Strange. You in a strange land. And the more we live in it, people live up and down the street from us for years, decades. Never had a coffee together, cup of coffee together, don't even really know each other's name. If their mail ended up at your house, you don't know. You just look at the address number and say, it must be that house over there. But we right on the block with each other. We don't really know each other. Kind of strange, isn't it? Yep. We're in a strange land amongst a strange people. You end up with strange ways, right?